which I will extend just a bit to make you wait. Haha. Okay, I'm done. Now we can go. Runner, over to you.
Hey guys, my name's Avukamu. Today I'll be running, as my host Boo has graciously said, Resident Evil Revelations. It is a Nintendo DS port from 2012. They remade it and remastered it for the PC in 2017, 2018. But the base game is still the same, and I think it's one of the more forgotten Resident Evils. But before we get to that, I'd like to introduce my couch. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name's Spicy. I also ran Revelations for a little bit, and I run a bunch of other RE games. And yeah, I'm just here to provide some commentary, explain some boss fights.
So we'll go ahead and get started. The timer starts once we pick the difficulty, so we'll just go ahead with that in 3, 2, 1. So for those of you unfamiliar with Resident Evil Revelations, the plot is Hello Kitty and her friends try to save an amusement park. I don't think that's the right description.
Don't think that's the right game from us.
How do you know? It's only been 10 seconds, man.
I'm willing to bet that's the wrong game.
I think this game's a little bit scarier, but anyway, Revelations. For those of you not caught up on the Resident Evil series, zombies, virus, take over the world, save the world. Same deal and all that. Revelations actually takes place between Resident Evils 4 and 5. In context, that's after Leon saves Ashley from the Ganados, but before Jill Valentine becomes a blonde. So, yeah, I mean, that's the easiest way to say it. But to be honest, when I first started speedrunning this game, I wasn't like super hyped upon it. But I do think it's one of the easier entries of the Resident Evil series to potentially speedrun for those interested. One of my friends and fellow runner, Captain Ezekiel, who could not be with us here today, he actually convinced me and Spicy to run it. And it's a really fun run, actually. So we're going to be running to our first stereotypical Resident Evil enemy here.
And you're gonna see the first appearance of our favorite mechanic in this game, which are crits. As you see, that took quite a few shots to kill this enemy. Every time you shoot an enemy in this game, there's a chance that you get a crit, and it does. I think it's like 8 times more damage or something. It's something insane.
Yep,
so that's like the biggest RNG element in this run that we'll touch on the other bosses as well.
But for now, it's time for Pokemon Snap. So this game has a lot of different mechanics that you could obviously see were kind of meant for the Nintendo DS, especially with the touchpad on the bottom screen. There's going to be a lot of time skips, but to essentially boil it down to a very simple formula, it's Among Us on a cruise ship with a lot of zombies on it. Jill and her partner Parker, who I don't think we've seen, but we'll just see momentarily, are pretty much exploring this cruise ship, and Chris and his partner will eventually go in after them to save them. But one of them is a bad guy, so...
Yeah, the way this game is laid out is like, it's very episodic. It's the whole premise around it, so we'll be jumping around timelines, storylines a lot. A bunch of different characters.
Who do you think the imposter could be, Spicy? Is it the 2 main characters of every RE game, or is it the random character that's never been at the game before? Yeah, we take this specific line to prevent spawning an extra enemy in a shed. That's why I kind of make a whole U going that way, so... That's the end of chapter 1, 2.
Yeah, these first couple chapters is just like a bunch of walking, and then like once we get to like the midpoint of the run, it picks up a lot. There's like a lot of back-to-back boss fights and stuff.
I've gotten kind of oblivious to it, but for costume choices, we did pick the fancier costumes based on the incentives met. Jill is a pirate captain. You see the little parrot on her shoulder. No gameplay differences, but... And Chris, coming up, will be in a very distracting costume.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is probably my favorite costume in any RE game I've played.
Yeah. They put the work into it, and the fact that it's part of the game and it's not a mod actually just kind of shows, you know, kind of the overseen value and work that's been put into Revelations. Because can you imagine this as a DS game? It's so...
Dude, this game is so good. It's actually it's crazy this was a DS game. I went back, and after I played this game through and I started running it, I went back and looked at like DS gameplay, because I figured like maybe it was like upscaled like crazy, right, for PC, but it's actually not. Like the DS version looks really good for a DS game. It's kind of crazy.
So there's a mechanic that obviously makes more sense on the DS, but we're going to be scanning things. And most of the things that we're going to be scanning are either key items or very specific ammo drops. It's kind of a new mechanic that was only used in this Resident Evil to kind of have the player interact with the touchscreen, if that makes sense. So, but for us, we just have to enter camera mode on the PC. So for those of you familiar with Resident Evil 3, there's a dodge mechanic. There's also a dodge mechanic in this game, but it's a lot jankier.
Oh, unlucky. It is quite difficult to do. It's like, it's not frame perfect or anything, but it's pretty specific timing. You basically just have to stand still in front of the enemies and tap W at the correct time, and you'll go into like a scripted dodge animation.
Yeah, whereas I think in Resident Evil 3 you could still be moving and dodge. For Revelations, your character has to be completely still for you to pull off a successful dodge. So that's why you'll see me just stop in front of a lot of enemies often. But this part of the story, let's go rescue Chris, but it was not Chris. It's a mannequin. And before we continue on with the commentary, guys, don't forget to donate. It's $1 for a tree, and you know, I'm sure we spend daily just getting our morning coffee, getting food, you know, at least $10-20. But just remember, $1 helps save the Earth. I was trying to say world and Earth. But anyway, here's Chris Costumes, and guys, don't forget to donate. So,
sheesh. Woo.
That's a very nice view, if I may say so myself.
oh yeah, I get completely distracted. You're gonna see me just get hit by everything now.
Oh, I would too. If we have a bit more time, I can talk to the wonderful people in chat about our charity and what we're doing. Is that okay for you?
Oh yeah, go for it.
All right. So we are here obviously for One Tree Planted. As we've said, this is a charity that focuses on planting trees. I think I should surprise no one when I say this, but you know, we're making sure, right? And well, every dollar plants one tree somewhere around the globe, and it is a very fantastic way to help the planet in concrete ways. And reforestation does help to rebuild forests after fires and floods, and it gives jobs for people involved, and that's a very wonderful thing to do. So I would like to thank everybody who's watching and donating and encouraging the cause, because it is a very worthwhile one. Now let's go back to the run, because stuff is happening. Wow.
Yeah. We call this, well, I call this split the two-shot nation. And if you're so Revelations as a run isn't mechanically very hard. For me, the way I describe it, it's like 1,000 small things that you want to get right. And I would say like world record and like the top 3 times have maybe at least 95% of the things go right. But so this is called the two-shot nation because we're gonna be fighting a bunch of dogs momentarily, and sometimes they die in 1 shot, sometimes they die in 2. 2 is double 1, so that's double the time loss. So
No way, 2 is double 1.
I actually checked on my calculator just to be sure, and I can confirm that 2 is double 1.
This feels like math.
Yes. I'm overthinking it. No, but some dogs do take 2 hits and they just completely ruin your life. It's actually really bad for the run. If you're competing for a time, though. So.
It's not too bad if you get a couple 2 shots, but if you get a bunch of 2 shots back to back, or you get like all 2 shots, then you end up in a situation where you can actually either run out of ammo or you have to reload at a bad time and it throws off the cycle, or it can get pretty bad.
Yeah, and it's in this upcoming section, which is another reason why DA manip is not a thing in this game. For those of you familiar with Resident Evil, you guys should know what difficulty adjustment is, but Spicy, you just want to quickly talk about why DA is not a thing in this game?
So DA is in this game. It's just the way that it works is basically when you shoot things, your DA goes up. When you get hit, your DA goes down. The higher your DA is, the harder the game is. So the better you're doing, the harder the game will be. We tested DA in this game, and like being on lower DA levels in this game did not do much to begin with, but also when you come out of this section right here with these dogs, your DA is basically at its max, and it does not reset when you change characters, so there's no way that we can efficiently drop DA coming out of this section to enough for it to be worth. Getting quite a few one-shots here.
You just jinxed it. It's just gonna be 2 shots for the rest of the dogs.
As you see here, he's also using these grenades that he throws down. They're like decoy grenades, but they blow up after a certain amount of time, but you can speed it up just by shooting it once you have a group of dogs around it.
Can we talk about how bad the dialogue is in this? Jessica said, me and my sweet ass are on the way.
Yeah, Jessica is the worst. The absolute worst.
I think this is what Japanese devs think American people say, like, me and my sweet ass are on the way.
Yeah, this game has notoriously bad dialogue from pretty much all the characters.
So yeah, because we kill 100 dogs, we're set to max difficulty within casual immediately, so. Is that dog kind of stuck over there? No, he's not.
So as you can see, Camus is about to run out of ammo. If he would have gotten more, he might actually still run out, but if he would have gotten more 2-shot dogs in the beginning, he definitely would have run out of ammo. Oh.
Make it count. Oh well, I gotta wait for... Yay, Jessica.
Only one more.
So during a lot of forced cutscenes, your character's walking, but if we strafe to diagonally, it's a little bit faster. Just some small optimizations.
No need to compare.
So.
Trust you both. Besides, trust is built through actions, not words.
What's after this? Is this where you go? After this is where you go to the electrical thing on the deck, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Dodge Simulate. It's the whole maze of rooms.
Yeah.
So the reason why this game actually works so well on the DS, you're actually going to see it coming up, because there's a lot of backtracking. You're going to go through the same 5-6 rooms multiple times, if that makes sense. So there's technically not a lot of resources to load for the DS. It's not a new area each time. You're just doing a lot of backtracking. That being said, for a speed run, it kind of gets confusing. You get lost really easily, and I think Spicy and I have watched each other's streams so many times, and then we'd be like, do I go left here or do I go right here, you know? So,
Honestly, the hardest part of learning the run of this game is remembering where to go
yeah.
for the first couple of runs.
But Kamu, there's a map. The map does not help. It really doesn't. We could show that off a little bit more on like the Terra Grigia split, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the worst.
Sorry, here we don't have any weapons, so we're gonna have to go retrieve our weapons, rescue our partner, and progress further in the ship. So,
Does he hit the TV dodge?
do I?
He hits the TV dodge. He's insane.
I'll be here all day. The line for autographs starts in 5 minutes.
So here you're gonna see this is one of the only type of like puzzles in the game, but we do a few of them. It's just like you have to move the circuits in a certain way. They're not RNG, they're always set to the same pattern, so you just memorize them and do them the same way every time. You can do them really fast.
So this whole section's a Dodge Simulator pretty much. There we go.
So yeah, you'll see Camus doing those little stutter steps because if you're moving at all, the dodges just won't work pretty much ever.
Yeah, sometimes the zombies or creatures, they have different attack patterns. Some are delayed, some are instant, so that's why I get... If it was a speedrun purpose, I definitely would just go, you know, balls deep and just kind of go for the risky strat, but because it's a marathon, I'm kind of just staying back a little bit because I don't want to get grabbed and lose time, so... I am notoriously famous for resetting over one mistake, and apparently a lot of my
That's the
friends...
Camus classic, yeah.
Yeah. They'll say, you have 10 minutes of throughout the entire game to save. I'm like, nope, that 2 seconds right there, unbelievable. Unhappy with it. we're going to be throwing a decoy right there, which just kind of acts as a proximity mine. By throwing it there, the enemy AI is going to kind of be trapped when we go back that way. So.
Yeah, it just makes the positions a little more favorable because you'd have to dodge through a lot more enemies if you didn't throw that in the room. And here we finally get our weapons back.
But we're still not going to shoot any of them, so speed run. I had the trivia, like, this game is based on a movie back in the 90s that I watched. I can't remember what it was called. Nice, got the... But it was the same premise. It's a cruise ship with a virus on it and then, like, creatures on it, but that's what this game is based off of.
Oh, I think I heard about that. I don't remember what it was, though.
Yeah. And also a fun fact, the creatures here actually inspired Resident Evil 7's Molded. And I do believe it's the same director, if not some important part of the back-end staff.
If I remember correctly, there's like an Easter egg thing in Resident Evil 7 that references this game or references that director.
Yeah.
Do you think the movie was the Titanic? I'm sure that's the plot, right?
I don't like Leonardo I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay, sure then, okay.
No, it's like a cheesy horror movie that had, I don't know, like it was like a tentacle monster in the ocean, but
That feels spooky.
yeah. That enemy in particular has multitudes of different attacks, so we always try to throw just a mine there just to distract them.
Another thing about this game being a maze is like every time you go on one of these elevators, you have to remember which button to press.
Oh my god, I've lost
like,
so many runs because it's not always the first choice. Sometimes it's the second choice or the first choice. And at least for me, I don't remember which button I have to press. I just remember is it 1 or 2, you know? But
yeah.
hopefully we'll be going to the right places on this time around.
I'm at the bridge. We can't change our course. We're confused.
The scan here is a set grenade.
Is this Terra Grigia, our favorite?
Yes. Terra Grigia split. So this next split kind of takes us back into the past. There's this whole floating mega super island called Terra Grigia where a lot of people live. And a bioterrorist group named Veltros?
I think it was Veltro.
Yeah, Veltro unleashed bioweapons upon the city. And which causes... There's a tie to it. When you play the game casually, you don't know why this is here. We'll explain it later towards the game why this split becomes relevant in the story at least.
I think the story of Terra Grigia is actually really cool. The whole concept behind it is actually pretty sick.
So
But
now we're
the split, the speedrun right here, the Terra Grigia, not very fun. It's just a lot of running and waiting around, as you can see.
And we're playing the two new comers to this game. The girl I'm looking at, her name is Jessica, and I am Parker. Fun fact, nobody's costume matters but Parker's in this speedrun. Because this costume of Parker's comes with an axe that you see on the back that is very strong. One shots or two shots most things. And we started integrating that in the speedrun because it's technically not a New Game Plus. Yeah, and we'll be running into a very familiar enemy, the Hunter... Yeah, Hunter Betas, Hunter Gammas.
Yeah, the axe pretty much one-shots these things. Before, as Camus mentioned earlier, Captain Ezekiel, the other runner that got us into this game, he ran before they knew about the axe, and you used to have to pick up like a bunch of ammo in these Terra Grigia splits, but now we just run through and do that. All the enemies.
That was the one-shot. Hunters can one-shot in this game. And you, after playing it for a while, you just kind of get an idea. But Spicy, did you see that? He had the one-hit. That was a one-hit kill.
Yeah. It has a pretty big wind-up, and you can dodge it, but sometimes you can get caught off guard by it.
Yeah, I was really hesitant to press the elevator button because I thought I was gonna die if I hit the elevator button. So.
Oh, also, fun meme. if you're touching the elevator doors and they do it on the other side of the elevator, they can kill you through the elevator door.
I've lost many a run. See, I got lost. Yeah.
Taking the scenic route, yeah. So Terra Grigia is the worst part of the game for like being a maze. It's so confusing.
That map does not help either. So I think the map makes it even more confusing, to be honest.
Yeah, the way that I really remember this is like just stay right most of the time. It's almost always just stay right and turn right.
Didn't I tell you that?
Probably.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Being in the FBC is not your moral compass.
And then upcoming here, once we get up to this top of these stairs, we're gonna have a what is it, 2 minutes? I think it's 2 minutes auto scroller section.
Yeah. After like an office section, we just run through. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, like Spicy said, it's a 2-minute auto scroller section. We have to just survive for 2 minutes, and the easiest way is obviously just to look at your life split timer and count 2 minutes. But because the enemy spawn is infinite, what we do is try to just leave one enemy. And this is actually very important because if there's one enemy left on, let's say, 1 HP, you want the AI as close to you as you can waiting by the elevator, because you can't go up without your AI partner. So if there are multiple of enemies, Jessica would run around everywhere and be like 100 meters from the door as opposed to like 5 meters away. So which is very important, why we kind of focus on not only not dying, but leaving one enemy behind and having Jessica as close to the elevator door as we can.
Yeah,
First-
we also, right at the end, we try to like kill the last enemy as well, so Jessica will not sit there and try to shoot it. Because as you'll see, this whole time that we're running around, Jessica will just be blasting it. But I don't actually know how this works, but Jessica isn't like supposed to be able to kill him, but very rarely, sometimes she will. I don't know what causes that to happen. But yep, so as you see, we're just gonna run this guy around. Also, I'm not sure what also causes it, but sometimes, maybe you know, I think you actually told me before, maybe I forgot, but sometimes another wave of enemies will spawn for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what causes it. I think like one specific hunter death causes it, but at the same time there's no way we get it consistent enough that we leave the same hunter alive. I don't know. Maybe we do. Zeke calls this split the hunter dance, because I think he just like dances with the hunter.
Yeah. Personally, I hit the jump over the thing over and over, just back and forth.
Yeah.
Jessica's in a really good spot. She didn't
Very
run away.
good spot, yeah. We've got about... No! Okay, he's still... No!
Oh,
Unlucky. We still got...
Jessica's insane.
I think this is a 2 spawn, so... 2 spawn's not the worst.
Yeah, it's not too big of a deal because we are in casual. Like, the only thing that can even come close to killing us is the insta-kill attack. So you're never really in too much danger.
So go close to the elevator and away from the...
Nice. Yeah, if you're lucky there, Jessica will just aggro and just start shooting enemies outside the elevator, and you can't really do anything about it.
And then the run's dead.
Run is dead after the 2-minute auto scroller. Perfect.
Oh, I got hit in the 2-minute auto scroller reset. Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the first Terra Grigia split. After we get out of this elevator.
After this comes the first major reset, but we'll talk about it a little bit more when we get to it. The comms officer, which is a lot of fun.
Big man himself.
Mm-hmm. So fun fact, I'd like to give Spicy a little credit and Ezekiel a little credit. Captain Ezekiel is 3rd place in this game on the leaderboard, and Spicy is currently world record holder for this category, so impressive.
Zeke routed most of the game before we ever came, and then once me and Camus came to the game, we just made like a bunch of optimizations, smaller optimizations. Also, the axe routing on the Tiger is just what saved a lot of time.
Yeah. I think there's also Stephen Mateer, who's like an Australian dude who Zeke learned from, so credit to him as well. So Spicy, you want to tell the viewers why this split is the worst split in the world, and I
love
hate
this split, dude.
Oh yeah?
So, this is the first major boss we're gonna fight. As I talked about in the beginning, crits are a huge factor in this game, and this is the worst split for crits because it basically decides if you're to continue the run or not. There's gonna be a boss that busts out of a door, and you have how many crits is it? Is it 4 to insta kill him?
4 to insta kill.
And what is our crit chance right now? Is it 33%?
33%.
Okay, yeah. So you have a 33% chance to crit every shot, and if you crit him 4 times, you kill him instantly. If you crit him like twice, you can still kill him, but it's really sketchy. If you get really unlucky, you crit less than that, you're just resetting. And we'll probably also Camus will probably be resetting if he does crit less than twice, just because at that point you're using so much ammo that we need later, and the reset doesn't take too long. But yeah, it's extremely RNG.
Yeah, we need the ammo for a boss fight, which is almost immediately right after this boss fight. So, although I could do safe pickups, worst case scenario. So.
This is where the run starts to pick up a bit. You do a bit more fighting. This is where it gets fun. The first like 20-25 minutes are a little bit slower.
Oh, this man's I'm not insane.
Oh, he's not insane.
I spoke too soon. Sometimes if you're really, really lucky, you'll get both of them just on aggro, and it's really nice. Usually it's one or the other, so.
Doesn't even take the straight line through. Smooch. I think I've only done that like one time, safely.
It's like a weird condition, right? The enemy has to spawn behind the projectile dude or something like that.
Yeah, it depends on where they spawn. There's a lot of weird RNG in this game where enemies like will spawn or be when you walk into a room. It's really strange.
Like we said, a pretty easy run to learn, but I would say a relatively hard run to get like a really good time in, because you have to, a bunch of small things done right. So visually we can tell if it's a crit or not, because my screen will kind of flash white, whereas if it's not a crit, it'll just be like a blood thing. It's hard to describe, but once you see it, it becomes a lot more easier to. It becomes more apparent.
The blood splatter on the enemy is also a lot bigger when you get a crit.
But it's a marathon anyway, so it's not gonna happen.
No, of course not.
Yeah. Never fails. Whenever you're on red pace or losing time, you always get the 4 crits. Whenever you're on, world record pace, never crits. I'm sure fellow speedrunners could feel that pain.
Can confirm I feel that pain very
yeah.
often.
Runs going poorly, hey, we'll give you the best RNG. Runs going really well, and...
So you saw him right there, and the way that you upgrade weapons in this game is you pick up upgrade parts and then you equip them at item boxes. And right there you saw him put up with the extra pistol he had, and he put on a fire rate upgrade and a damage upgrade for the upcoming boss.
Praise.
Does he get it? So, not too bad.
Crit. Yeah, that was a 3 crit, so. We're going to quickly restart here because this puts us actually closer to where we need to be. And all the enemies are de-aggroed, so.
Yeah.
3 crit out of 4, yeah. I'll take
that's
that.
not bad.
I think anything below 3, honestly, if I did a serious run, I would just reset on it. It sucks,
You end up in a position where you're gonna use a lot of ammo, and also he gets up off the ground, starts moving, it gets hard to aim, and he also can grab you and insta-kill you. So if you don't kill him fast, it is bad. And there's another enemy that also walks in the room behind you if you don't kill him fast.
Yeah, I think Jill just gets eaten up, so by that a larger mouth if you're too close.
A little bit of a walking section here again, and then we'll be almost immediately coming up on another one of the bigger reset point bosses.
It's not too bad after we route. Rachel's not too bad once we routed it.
Yeah, you can
honest.
still get screwed a bit though.
Yeah. So the boss is called Rachel and not some weird monster name because it's actually the body of a corpse. And if you recall way earlier into the game, I scanned a key in a room where a girl was killed, another agent. Her name is Rachel. And per Resident Evil fashion, of course it's the name characters that become super scary boss fights, so. This boss, her design, however, is a little bit sexualized? I don't know how else you describe it.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
Where do you pick up the crit upgraded arm? You get it before Rachel, correct?
Yeah, in the casino, we have to scan the poker table.
Oh, you get to do casino. Let's go.
So this run's also really fun as well because there's an actual RNG section. You have to roll slots.
Literal gambling.
Literal gambling.
Yeah.
Hello, Kama. We would like to inform you that we will not be accepting your submission based on the premise that it has gambling in it.
You're pretty good on ammo. 17's good here, right?
Yeah, because the poker table's got like 8.
Oh yeah. I think if you do that scan in that room, you're always fine no matter what.
So. I'm gonna do this once, but I'm not gonna do it for the rest of the run. We're gonna just change FPSs. And Spicy, if you just kind of want to explain what changing FPS here does, so I'll just do it once, just to show him.
So there's this kind of weird mechanic where he's not going to be able to interact with this door while there's dialogue going on, but there's like a little pause between dialogue lines where you actually can interact for like a frame or two. It's really, really hard to hit the interacts on 144 FPS, but if you go to 30 FPS and you mash really fast, you can get it pretty consistently. So see here, he should be able to get the door open without waiting for all the dialogue. Yep, there you go. Usually you'd have to wait for like 2 more lines of dialogue to play before you're able to open the door.
Yeah, and because the game's in-game time with loads or load remover, pausing doesn't actually add the timer. But because this is a marathon, we won't be using that trick because it takes longer real time. I just wanted to show it off once, you know. The casino.
This place actually looks really cool. Too bad it sucks.
This place looks cool. Too bad it sucks. Excellent observation. You should write reviews for casinos. So one of these fishes that are obviously going to turn into piranhas has the key, and we just kill all of them in order. So.
Yeah, it's always, they always jump out in the same order, and also the same one always drops the what is it, the coin? Yeah, it's a coin.
You're not supposed to tell them that. You're supposed to project that I have like a McCree-like reflex, you know?
Oh.
So, RNG. Literal RNG. You can roll it anywhere from 1 to 4 times. And it's 4 seconds time loss each time. It could be anywhere, from the first roll to the 4th roll.
Better luck next time.
I should have practiced this section. I should have just practiced this section. I should have.
And he gets the 4 roll.
I hate this game so much. This game's amazing.
But yeah, you can lose up to, what is it, like 12 or 16 seconds on that if you get 4 roll compared to 1 roll.
I'm already salty. The run's over.
This is where actually, I was about to say this is where Camus would reset, but no, he actually would have reset probably in the first 5 minutes.
If you guys remember the beach split where you just take pictures, if I'm 3 seconds behind, I'll just say nope.
So right there, he picked up a crit upgrade. I think it was plus 30%, so his crit is now 63% instead of 33%. Which makes the rest of the bosses not as RNG. I mean, there's still some crit RNG, obviously, but it's not as bad.
I mean, I couldn't possibly be that unlucky, right? On a marathon run?
No way.
No way.
Never happened before.
Never had, yeah. Surprisingly, I have not had that moment yet. This has never happened before. Per marathon tradition.
Crossing fingers.
Then we need to find
You just jinxed it so hard.
It might happen. I haven't run. I've run this game for like 100 hours. It might happen. Whereas some other games I've run, like I've seen possibly everything there is to see. So we'll see.
You've never seen everything there is to see. Trust me.
Can't be a good at a game that has random.
Okay. Game gets kind of spooky in this part. Dude, if I was like a kid playing this game on his DS, bro, it'd be scary.
You go from Scooby-Doo, Monster Island Adventures to Resident Evil Revelations, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, you see, we've been through this section of the very first split of the game. It's a lot of backtracking, so the resources allocated for this is like minimal, because they just reuse it.
Yeah, there really is not too many environments in this game. Here you're just gonna see him dodging a few enemies on the way to Rachel.
I like Rachel. She's one of my favorite characters. But she wouldn't be dead if the bioterrorists didn't release the virus. And you know what would have stopped the bioterrorists from releasing the virus? Planting a tree. Saving the earth. Donate $1. Come on, guys. At least $1.
Speaking of that, I'll take just 5 seconds. We did reach $2,500, so now the stream is in Comic Sans. Please enjoy.
Perfect.
I mean, it does look snazzy, if I may say so myself. It is just chef's kiss. Like, good. So if we do have time, I would have 2 donations to read if you're okay with that.
After this boss fight.
Alright, cool. Take your time.
So yeah, you can see why I said it was super over-sexualized. Her breasts just kind of stare you right in the face.
I found the target. She's a zombie.
Alright, so the way this fight works is Camus gonna walk up here to the first vent. There's gonna be there's actually 4 different vents that she can pop out of, and it's always in the same order. We're trying to make her only pop out of 3 though, and kill her on the 3rd one. And once you do enough damage, she's gonna go up in the vent, like that. And we're hoping to kill her on the 3rd vent.
Mm-hmm.
It is a bit RNG dependent on like how many crits you get. To kind of determines if you're able to do enough damage to do that. We do have a weird strat that we found towards the end of us running this, where you can kind of like put her on the ground. Are you gonna go for that one?
Nope.
No, yeah, it's pretty difficult to do. You can like put her on the ground in a corner, and she'll kind of bug out and like not get up, but it is quite difficult.
Yeah, I'm going for the old traditional, just hit her as many times as you can method.
Yeah.
So. I missed one.
Yeah, her head hitbox there is really weird.
Do the reload bug. Nice. So getting hit there cancels my reload animation. Am I gonna get the 4 cycle?
Yeah, it might get to 4. That's alright though.
She's gonna die in 1 or 2 shots coming out of it. Oh.
Can she phase here to the kitchen as well?
Yep.
Oh,
Unlucky.
that's okay.
I don't think I got that many crits. I was kind of looking at the blood shots. I did miss 2 shots, but normally she was supposed to die at the 3rd interval, not the 5th interval, so it's kind of unlucky.
It's the marathon luck.
Oh yeah. Completely jinxed it.
I didn't do it.
She is still alive.
She should be really low at this point.
Amazing that she is actually still alive. I don't think I've ever gotten this bad of a look on her HP values. Take this.
Oh, the knife struts.
This is actually really unlucky. I got really unlucky on crits.
How is she alive?
I don't know. This is actually weird.
Did you choose casual?
This is
Misclick?
casual.
Okay, there you go.
There we go. I must have not crit, like, at all. Interesting. That's okay.
There's your literally never happened before moment.
That is actually a literally never happened before. I have never had to knife her. Never fails. Oh, it's always a marathon. Could it be a clean, 17 shots or something? But yeah, that's Rachel. I'm just salty now.
It's not as bad as Calm's RNG wise, but yeah, it is quite RNG. You can go ahead with donations now though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. So we did get 2 donations to get us over to $2,500 for this Comic Sans takeover. I guess that's how we call it. Infinite Man's donated $20, donating to honor Chris's, ON, trees, breathable air, and all that stuff. Good luck. Well, thank you so much. And that $20 did go towards saving the frames in Metroid, which, by the by, is still losing by $60. So if you want to flip that outcome, you know what to do. And we also had a Rabbit Wombat donating $20. No comments, no nothing, but we do appreciate all this money. We're, after all, doing all of this, the memes, the screams, and I guess speedruns too, kind of, for a good charity, One Tree Planted, to save the Earth. And with that, back to you.
Alrighty. We're gonna have 2 or 3 splits where we play as kind of the 2 Stooges instead of the 3 Stooges. And what their purpose serves is they never appear in any other Resident Evil game, but they're kind of the link between the stories, if that makes sense.
Yeah, these characters are honestly sick. They're my favorite characters in the game. This skin is this Keith? I can never remember their names, even though they're my favorite characters in the game. Yeah, Keith. This skin is like the sickest skin in any Resident Evil game ever.
The double slash.
Yeah, the katanas.
So we just did a small skip right there. Normally you're supposed to get to this platform or this puzzle, and then your partner actually dropped the screwdriver when he tripped over right there, but we're able to just pick that up earlier. Spicy, you wanted to kind of describe this out of bounds?
Yeah, so this is the first out of bounds you're gonna see in this game. It's a pretty small one. You'll see he goes back into bounds pretty quick, but it skips like going through that door and going down some stairs and stuff. I think it only saves like 7 or 8 seconds. It's really easy to do though. Hopefully I didn't just jinx it.
I was about to say spicy.
Yeah, there you go. So the way this works is he walks forward a bit and drops down, and then you have to get out of like the area where you're in the wall fast enough, or you'll die. Whenever you're out of bounds in this game, you're on like a timer, and if you don't get out of like the what's it called, the geometry in time, then you'll just die.
Yeah. So how it works is very similar to Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5's Out of Bounds. You kind of want to displace your model so that when you enter going into a cutscene or jumping off after doing an action. So how I displaced my model there was I was holding down the aim button as I was looking at the computer. So as he's looking down at it, because I'm aiming, his model collides with the computer and I'm able to just run through it coming out of the cutscene.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
You know, this Resident Evil is actually really cool. Out of Bounds is one of the out of bounds in this game are actually really cool. That's
yeah,
the
like
least
that
cool
about this game a lot.
Yeah.
kind of sucks. Like the more modern Resident Evils don't have too many out of bounds.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Village and 7 have them, but it's only like 1 per game.
Or rather, they have out of bounds, but because I think their flags are way better, you can't really go out of bounds without skipping the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, the casual playthrough, you'd stay out of the water, but because we're speedrunning, we're going to be dodging piranhas, dodging these squid people. I don't know what they're officially called, but...
Squid people.
Petition for squid people, yeah.
Yes.
I call this next section the Atlantean Empire because I always end up yelling every other one. Of course, the entire empire is on me. And what it means is that there's going to be a large pool that I have to waddle through. And you could have anywhere from 2 piranha to 6, 7 piranha. And usually, of course, my luck, I usually get 6 or 7. And that's when I yell, man, the entire empire of Atlantis is on me. Just, good man. The Armada is here.
Armada's my favorite.
Yeah. Boo, Spicy, you guys want to take a guess? Anywhere from 2 to 6? How many fish there are going to be?
I'm going
9.
4.
Okay. Spicy?
I'm going 9.
9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh.
So how you dodge them is just the flick either direction. So 5. Yeah,
I'll take the win.
Yeah, I'll take it, yeah.
I made it.
9? Spicy
Dude,
9?
you never know, bro.
That would have been
know.
monstrous.
That would... I've actually died there once before because I got continuously bitten by...
Oh yeah, they
6,
could just unlock you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very fun. What was it though? 5, right? So when I go back to that room.
It was 5, yeah.
Okay.
Is it the same when you go back the second time?
Yes.
Didn't know that.
You asking that question makes me think that it's not the same now.
I just never paid attention, I guess.
Press X to doubt.
See, Spicy's a different kind of runner we call a world record potential runner. He's very good at games, so he never gets hit, so he never counts how many enemies there are in the room. But me, because I'm bad, I have to blame the game otherwise, so I always count what's in the room.
Fair.
Little flip.
As you can see, this section is a lot of backtracking. Just kind of running through the same place like 3 times.
Is this a Metroidvania now?
Probably. But it's kind of crazy, right, Boo? Like, you wouldn't think this game was on the DS, just looking
Honestly,
at
like, it never would have looked like something that could have been on the DS. Like, never, ever.
It's so good. And the run is, like I said, it's so fun. It's a bunch of small things, but obviously for a more competitive runner, it's a lot more things to memorize. But if you're casually just trying to run a Resident Evil game, I would wholeheartedly recommend this.
It does look like tons
They're
of fun.
on the
I might pick it
steps.
up. Oh no.
They're all here. Everyone's here.
The whole crew is here.
Everyone's here.
Oh my.
I'm getting chained. Leave me.
That was horrendous.
That was, yeah, as bad as it get. If it didn't make sense to anyone, yeah, the fish can go on land as well, so. So right here, we actually have to escape from the room before I die. If I remember how to do this puzzle. I might die here.
Nah, you're good.
Nah, just kidding. It's a scripted event. You're supposed to be underwater.
Oh, there we go. You got me.
I was actually, when I was preparing for the marathon, I was actually gonna pretend to do the whole, oh crap, my mouse isn't working, and just stand completely still in that scene. But I felt like Tech would be really mad and just say, what the hell's going on?
That might have been slightly too much, but that was good though.
Thank you. I hate the dogs in this split.
Yeah, so this dog, yep, there you go. These dogs are just like, you kind of just run past them and pray, because You can try to shoot them and stagger them, but a lot of the time they don't stagger. And even if they do stagger, sometimes they'll just get up and bite you anyways. Yeah, it's the worst. There's a cool thing that can happen here. It's like super. I don't think it ever actually happened to me, but I've seen it happen to people where a dog will come up behind you and like start running into you and just like boost you all the way to the end super fast.
So if you thought one-shot hunters were crazy, now get ready to meet the invisible one-shot hunters. They'll kind of introduce them here.
You can make this part pretty scripted though. They always spawn in the same spots. So once you memorize where they spawn and...
I'm gonna be low on ammo. That first hunter was pretty bad. There's one closer to me, but I can't see his outline. Yeah.
Not too bad. For some reason, the assault rifle that he's using is like really, it's either really overtuned or the other weapons are really undertuned. Because if you have to use the pistol of his shotgun, like it just takes so long to kill them if you run out of assault rifle ammo.
Yeah. It's if you aim towards their head, it's not that bad, but sometimes, like I said, you get unlucky with the crits and everything. So. And yeah, especially with the shotgun, because the shotgun from long range doesn't do as much, you actually have to take the time to run up to them, shotgun them, and then run all the way back, which loses you at least, surprisingly, 10, maybe even more seconds. So now, because Jill is drowning, we're going to be playing Chris, who got to the cruise ship, and trying to save her. So we're going to be going through a lot of the same areas we've been going through, just a lot more enemies. But there's a twist at the end of this chapter, so... For those of you who have played the game, it's a pretty cool twist. For those of you who haven't played the game, you might be shocked.
It's such a weird twist.
I thought it was pretty cool, but...
I am fully prepared to be bamboozled.
Oh yeah. What's actually... Jill was Chris the whole time. It was a psychotic episode.
Oh my gosh.
Chris doesn't exist. He's just a figment of your imagination. What does that mean? Sailor Chris isn't real. Sailor Chris can't hurt you. And then Sailor Chris comes up. Another very cool out of bounds here. We're going to be using... there's actually a mini-boss. We have to fight 2 of the comms officers, which is why they give you a shotgun and an assault rifle. But what we're going to be doing, how the boss introduces itself, is he's going to burst open a door. We're going to take the momentum of the door being burst open to be knocked out of bounds and skip the entire boss fight entirely. So it's actually really cool. Of all the out of bounds, this is my worst one because I have a marker. Well, I don't know.
Surely you get it first try. Surely.
There's no way I missed this. I hate marathons. No.
Back
You know,
to a casino, my favorite.
Yeah. You know, oh yeah, we're gonna be knocked against the poker table into a pillar if it goes right. So, but yeah, honestly, of all the things to refresh for this marathon, I did this section like 5-6 times just to refresh it. So. Nope. I got knocked back inbounds.
Close.
That was close though. Luckily the restart's right here.
Yeah, there's 2 things that can go wrong here. Either you just don't get pushed into the table at all, or you get pushed too far and you get sent back in bounds. Oh, also you could die if you mess this part up, but...
I didn't know you could die, but Spicy did it twice. It sounds like, oh,
I've
die.
died quite a few times. Yeah.
But yeah, that skips a boss fight, so let's go rescue Jill.
This is the same split with the exploding guys by the door, right? When you get down here.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
5-second time loss every time. So there's a upcoming room coming up with with a exploding enemy and two exploding enemies and a regular enemy, and their placement in the room is actually RNG. So if you're lucky, you know they don't. If you're lucky, you just throw your only grenade. So I will be doing this grenadeless. I'm gonna nail it. Watch it. Hold up. They're really close.
You gotta hit the dodge. Oh. Well, not too bad.
All things considered, that they were just blocking my way, I'll take that. One hit's what? Yeah, you go into that room thinking you'll get hit once. So.
Yeah, if you're extremely unlucky and the timing is off, you can get knocked down twice. If you get lucky, you can do what Kamut tried to do there and dodge the scissor arm guy. And you have iframes when you're dodging, and if the other guys explode while you're dodging, then you just get to walk past. But
no. For that to happen, the exploding guy has to be in front, and the knife guy. But anyway, here we are, Jill, here to rescue you. But the twist is, you guys ready for this? They're on the wrong ship. There are two identical twin sister ships, and the bad guys put Chris on one and Jill on the other.
Dun dun dun.
It's actually but it's actually a lot cooler in context. So back to Jill. We're gonna have to try not to try to drown and save ourselves. If you look really closely, you can see Jill wear grandma panties on. So
quite the view.
Mm-hmm. And the parrot's still on your shoulder. He's just with you for everything. Alright. My favorite boss fight, Spicy, I don't know what you call him, but do you have a name for him?
Is this elevator guy?
Yeah.
I'm calling him elevator guy. I don't know if he actually has a name.
He does. I just call him the abalone boss because he just looks like a bunch of abalone kind of fused together. But his actual name is, I have it written down, Dragi Natso.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like all the enemies in this game have the weirdest names. Like all of them are just unpronounceable.
Yeah. Dragignazzo, Draginazzo. What does it mean? I don't know. Why couldn't they just have simple boss names like Rachel, right?
Yeah.
Even the comms officer had a really weird name too.
Yeah, they all did. I remember we spent one day, like we just went through and looked at the enemy names, and
yeah.
There's like a really complicated ones, and then there's like blob or something like the water things. I forgot what they're called exactly, but it's really simple.
This enemy is called a blurp.
Yeah.
The comms officer, I think it's like Scraggle something, but I always think of the streamer Scragglebum, who's another artist streamer.
Yeah.
So I just call it Scragglebum. Anyway. Yeah, we're gonna be fighting a giant conch shell, abalone, whatever you'd like to say. Pretty straightforward boss fight. It has two heads, but one of the heads is actually not a weakness point. So we're gonna be aiming for that head. But before then, a new enemy type that we're gonna be engaged with. These guys are really hard to beat. What we have to do to beat him is just simply run past him, so. Well done.
These guys also make the best sound in the game. They're like scream, I don't know why. It sounds sick.
Round of applause for that extremely hard encounter. It's kind of sad. Yeah, it's kind of sad we never fight those guys, honestly. Because they're such cool boss fights. I always like watching speedrunners like try to deal with the bigger, tougher enemies, especially in Resident Evil games, but alas, it's not to be. So normally I would reset as soon as I go into this big hall again, because it puts my partner right next to me. But sometimes if you just don't do the reload, your partner will not get to the elevator, and he's just so slow waiting for him. So we'll see how cooperative he is.
Yeah, Parker's not the brightest.
On a good run, he'll be right behind you. Okay, that was pretty good. Sometimes he's all the way over there. Yeah, sometimes he's all the way over there and just kind of looking around the place. But So this section's a bit of RNG. He could appear in any of these 3 windows, and I just go off the sound cue. And just deal with it from there. This is the first phase. We'll fight a second phase. First phase is pretty easy, to be honest. So that left eye is actually his weakness when we fight him for the second phase. Oh, I missed.
No, yeah, that whole part, I was trying to just be quiet to let you listen for the audio cues, but yeah, that whole part's scripted.
Yeah, the only thing scripted is which window he comes out of, which you use the audio cues for. This is my worst boss fight out of all of them, honestly.
So yeah, this is another boss that also suffers from the same kind of crit RNG thing. You can actually get a really fast kill on this guy if you get good crit RNG.
That should be it, yeah. I was just 1 crit off, which is unfortunate. Still a clean boss fight, relatively.
Yeah, not too bad. It's never too bad unless he does the thing where he like turns around and like covers up his head and you just can't shoot him.
And I don't think we've shown it. Oh, it's gonna happen to me now. But sometimes when you get knocked on your back. And there's a whole 5 to 10 second section where you can only just shoot with your handgun because you're on your back. But
what? I don't think I've seen that.
yeah, because you're actually good at the game.
Oh.
Imagine having skill. Who could do that?
I know, right? Let me guys tell you a story. Well, this section while I'm just doing this puzzle. Spicy here, in the Resident Evil community, he's known as the village guy because he had pretty much every Resident Evil village, which is the newest Resident Evil, world record at some point. And he's very, very good at like taking world records. I worked blood and tears, I'm exaggerating, but I worked pretty hard to get the world record in this, right? Less than 10 hours later, Spicy's like, yeah, I got the record.
That happens, Sid.
It was terrible. I went to the bar, like, showing off. I was like, yeah, what's up? Resident Evil Revelations world record holder, you game casual, yeah?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, people were flocking to me, but then, you know, less than 10 hours later, they just left. Betrayal. Yeah, so at this part of the story, there's this, per Resident Evil fashion, there is a laser satellite in space that will shoot down the cruise ship. So what we need to do is activate a UAV to kind of just distract the laser from hitting us.
Is that what about the satellite is per Resident Evil fashion? Was that in another Resident Evil game or something?
No, just like, you know how it suddenly comes from realistic horror to suddenly modern equipment, labs, and all that, yeah.
Yeah, the second half of our games always just go like crazy.
Yeah. Here is a little hut, but underneath the hut there is a 80-story modern laboratory. You know,
yeah.
Something like that. Welcome to Resident Evil. Enjoy your stay.
This guy is the only good dialogue in the whole game. It's Jackass and Keith.
No way.
Hey, can you press it?
Oh, hi there. Sure.
That's what we call a time loss.
It's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Yeah.
Somebody once told me that.
Yeah, pretty. And, yeah, but like I said, if you're a casual runner, it doesn't make a difference. But obviously, when you're trying to compete for world record, You know, it sucks losing the run to, you know, stuff like that. We're walking sideways here because it's obviously faster than walking.
I don't have audio on the version of the stream that I'm watching, but like I could hear those Quint voice lines in my head, so I remember them. It's my favorite.
He's also the biggest fanboy for Jessica, so whenever he talks to Jessica within the game, if he sounds like this, he'll be like, "Hey, Jessica."
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Did we get to that line yet? Did we pass that already?
I don't think we have, so we'll get to there. Hey, Quint, we need an escape route. Jessica? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, a lot of hunters, a bit of random, but we have a strat for it. That's just to throw 3 grenades, or 2 grenades right here, and hopefully that clears the room with them. Perfect. Because a lot of times I get 1 shot, and this is deck. Yeah.
This is probably the part that I was the worst at when I was running this game, was clearing this UAV thing. I don't know why.
The collateral.
Insane. So the way these guys jump up here is set every time.
He was.
Well,
I thought he was dead.
I also thought he was dead.
Oh my goodness. That just threw me off. Oh my god.
Yeah, usually this goes the same way every time for the most part. You have to hit them like in the head though, or like center body to kill them in 1 hit. If you hit like their arms or something, they don't die in 1 hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I killed that guy because I got a crit on the body, but that's weird.
Over here.
And per Resident Evil fashion, the main characters suddenly know how to put a UAV together, so. Next is one of my favorite splits. It's called Spicy's. I call it Spicy's line.
Dude, the line is real.
There is a line Spicy takes on this upcoming section where he doesn't even have to kill any of the enemies. But he's the only one able to replicate it. So we always, at least me, I always make fun of him and say, yeah, this is not a thing. So what do you think? Do we try Spicy's line out and possibly die?
At least
real.
1 time. For marathon.
Apparently. Great line, Spicy.
Okay, you did it wrong.
Flawless.
That's on you.
This is it, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah? Perfect?
I got that close enough.
Yeah.
See, this is so free.
There's no way you don't shoot that barrel.
I do shoot the barrel.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
There you go.
I still got
free.
hit. I still got hit 3 times. That's not what free means.
I mean, you're alive though.
That's true. Yeah, because normally how me and Captain Ezekiel do it is we'll just shoot the barrels. We'll just shoot all the barrels as we go, but upcoming here, now that Spicy's line kind of worked, my line's not going to work up here. I feel it.
We're out of time.
We call this
the
the
Camus line is real.
Camus line is real. You do it yourself.
I think I did do it, yeah.
So pretty much the concept of here, we're in a room full of all the past previous bosses, the comms officer, Rachel, a lot of traps on the floor, but we're gonna be trying to go fast enough and run past them that they're not able to be on their attack cycle, and they're still kind of just traveling. So just kind of need to focus here. But you got, if you have any more donations, you could feel free to read them.
Of course, we do have one donation from Codebreaker13 donating $25 towards the character incentive for Super Monkey Ball. They chose Baby.
Previous rooms what you've been in, but we're gonna be going out of bounds, and we're gonna be going out of bounds and hitting the specific location we need to be, just by swimming into the blackness, where a lot of resources haven't just been loaded.
Yeah, there he picked up a rocket launcher, which is we're gonna use for a boss fight coming up shortly as well. So yeah, just a lot of swimming here. I'm gonna meet up with Chris in a little bit. Oh wait, no, do you meet up with Chris until in this split?
No,
I'm thinking of the next
later.
water split.
Yeah. This Out of Bounds is really, really cool though. It kind of reminds me of Dead Space Out of Bounds, where you kind of just have to know what you're doing as you're like going out of, or just swimming into the blackness. So.
Do you remember the lineup?
I do remember the lineup. It's almost like I'm running a marathon to show off cool tricks. Yeah. A little fun thing.
Almost.
Yeah, I run through this railing because there's no collision box there, which is kind of weird. So how we're actually going to get out of bounds is we're gonna go up here to get some air, and we're gonna drop back down, but we're gonna clip into the very edge. So we need to run diagonally and clip at the first kind of frame it appears, which clips us out of bounds. We have a specific lineup here. It's kind of just hard to explain, but hopefully you guys enjoy it.
Parallel to the stairs.
Parallel to the staircase. I overshot it, but right there. There we go.
There you are.
And there we go. That's the water out of bounds.
And that skips a lot of running. That basically what he did there was he went through the casino door and triggered like the chapter to end. Skips it running all the way back up to the casino.
Mm-hmm. And now we're being chased by a giant underwater sea monster with infinite tentacles that on a little lifeboat with machine guns. But I would say this is probably the most relaxing section of this game. So
Yeah, this is like the definition of an auto scroller. You don't have to do anything.
I'm usually on my phone on this time, just kind of holding down M1 and just like scrolling through, you know, the news or Reddit or something like that at this point. It's important not to die though, so if you get hit too many times, you do die.
Fun fact, getting hit too many times kills you.
Yes.
The more you know.
That's true. Getting a world record is easy. Just be 1 second faster than the previous world record holder. It's very easy.
Wow! Learning.
Yes.
This is a little sneak peek for the upcoming boss, though. I don't remember if you can even, like, if you just sit here and get hit, I don't know if you can even really die on this section.
Yeah, you can.
Because you
If
have
get hit by
3 heals.
Well, assuming you don't heal. You can't AFK. Yeah. Yeah. But I think, yeah, you could. I think if you heal, yeah, you could.
Sound pretty confident in saying you can die in this section, Camille.
You
Speaking
can.
from experience?
Yeah, I went away from my computer and came back to a red screen saying you are dead. Retry.
I think this is the last of the long auto scrollers in this run. If I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
We need a good spot to board the Zenobia.
Damn, broke even.
Damn. You ever just lose like 0.3 on that for no reason? Just lose time?
Yeah, I do think it's a set time plus like a point, like less than half a second. So if you were on the later half of the second on the previous split, like it loads you to the
Yeah.
next second, something like that. Because yeah, the timer's based on. Anyway,
So this was all Raymond's doing?
we're switching partners. Jill is with Chris, and the 2 first timers, Parker and Jessica, are together. So guess which one of the partners is gonna betray the other? Is it Jill and Chris, or is it Parker and Jessica?
Vote now on your phones.
Please vote now. Hint, hint. Jessica and or not Jessica. Jill and Chris show up in later RE games.
Careful. The water is in
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Nudge, nudge.
So we're gonna go out about a foot here and dive. We're not gonna dive right away because there's an enemy directly underneath us. If we just said dive, so right here we're gonna serpentine so they don't grab us. There we go.
This split is actually like maybe the scariest split in the game. You can get grabbed so many places, and also get trolled at the part where you're carrying Parker. Oh. So yeah, there's kind of a specific line you can take there that makes this guy just swim over you and you can go past him, but
Yeah. This one as well, if your head is colliding with like the top of the thing, he can't grab you, so here we go. And Chris magically teleports in front of us. So there is some fun speedrun tech in this section. You want to be on pace with Chris or ahead of him, because he's going to be opening doors, and as the door's closing you can't open the door again, if that makes sense. So you want to be going through the door as he's going through the door, because if you just miss any of those doors at any point, you're pretty much put back on the cycle that Chris is just going to be ahead of you and all the doors will continuously just close on you. So, but for this ladder we're going to have Chris go up first, because he actually does need to interact with the door.
Found that key on the Samaritans.
I want to look at his butt, but I can't. He keeps turning. So yeah, aboard a cruise ship, we have a modern laboratory. Cool.
That's standard and normal.
Yep. And for those of you who know Resident Evil games, the fact that you enter a laboratory means we're on the later, like, third of the game, the last third of the game, if you enter a laboratory. We're going to be fighting a new enemy. It has a sword and a shield, and it's called the Scarmelian. I don't know why. But the hitbox is very awkward for the Scarmelian. But you do need 2 or 3 headshots to kill them. And it does kind of present itself as like a mini boss in this section, but it is actually just a common enemy, so.
Yeah, when he spawns here, killing this guy is really awkward. When he spawns, he has iframes until he's a certain part of the his spawning animation, and then his iframes end as his shield is like kind of about to cover up his head, so you have to shoot at a pretty specific time.
And slightly actually above his head as well, which is very visually weird, but his hitbox is like above his actual head.
Nice. Once you get the first one, the rest of it's pretty free because his shield's not blocking anymore.
That was actually really clean. Normally we do the 30 FPS trick up here to skip some dialogue and pick up the Magnum.
It's okay.
So if you saw it really quickly, the unable to pick up prompt disappeared for like half a second there in the middle of that prompt. But I need to do this.
Wait, what happened? Did you switch the sniper? Oh,
I
you
did.
switched the sniper.
Luckily it starts right here. So you can only carry 3 weapons at a time. So I switched out the sniper rifle instead of the handgun for the Magnum, which is not a thing. Good thing I caught it though. So.
Yeah, if you guys have watched any Resident Evil game with the sniper rifle, it is generally the strong. If a Resident Evil game has a sniper rifle, it is by far the strongest weapon in the game. Upgraded, it always has like the highest DPS. That applies for Village, Resident Evil 4, this game.
I try to hide these facilities on a cruise ship.
Yeah, I forgot I was holding the sniper rifle when I swapped because I was busy donating $1 to save the trees. Remember, $1 is one tree.
What's going on?
So smooth with it.
My transitions are lackluster.
Absolutely flawless. I have nothing wrong to say with that. And yes, dollars for trees. All good. We like those. In case you've forgotten what we are doing around here, that is indeed donating money towards One Tree Planted. Their mission is to plant trees, if the name wasn't good enough to clear you in. And yes, $1 equals one tree somewhere around the globe in one of their many projects to help restore biodiversity and just save the planet, because we have only one and ideally we'd like to not trash it, you know? So that's all I have to say for now. No donations yet, but please keep them coming. You're all wonderful in chat, and back to the run.
Also, for those of you who have played Resident Evil games, there is a cabin section, quote, for each one of them, where you're just swarmed by enemies and have to clear a bunch of them, so... And that's coming up, actually. But in this game, it is a warehouse, so...
The warehouse and the when house and the how house.
Yes, the Y house. Nobody
Yes.
asked about the Y house. But... This man has a massive forehead, but... Spicy, you kind of just want to explain this fun part here? No, he hates me. So pretty much how
Okay,
Cam-
sorry. My bad. Alright, yeah,
see.
so basically the way that cabin works is it's just a time section. The way the enemies spawn in this game, thankfully, unlike a lot of other cabin sections, the enemies in this cabin section spawn the same way every time. There's no RNG in the way that they spawn. There's one small RNG part to this, which I'll explain when it gets to it, but basically you can just sit in the same spots and shoot the same spots every time.
The movement gets a little sporadic because sometimes their models collide with each other, sometimes it doesn't, but... yeah.
So these the RNG part is actually these two generators he just turned on. About halfway through this section, one of the generators is going to turn off, and it's just RNG which one turns off. And depending on where he stands, he could be closer to the one that turns off. I think Camus does like a more YOLO strat where he just stands next to one of them and hopes that it's that one, but I usually stand like in the middle of both of them. And as you can see, once you've done this section a few times, you just kind of know where to aim.
Oop. Puts me a little bit off, but it's not the worst.
Yeah, this section is not too strict. You can lose time here, if you're really slow on killing things, but it is not that strict. The biggest time loss you can get here is if you don't turn on the generators. The generator that turns off immediately.
Noom.
People like street racing outside my house.
Casual activity.
Yeah. Speed running IRL.
There we go.
Oh, what? He just said, nope, I'm out of there. And now we gamble. Would you
Unlucky.
know? Unlucky. There's a hunter on me. I can't see him, but he's behind me.
Oh yeah, the hunters in this section can also insta kill. There's really no danger of like running out of ammo or anything in this section. It's all pretty lenient. As you can see, they just give you several rocket launchers and plenty of grenades and stuff.
It's never the worst, but I always get really scared of just dying accidentally, you know? I'm a one-hit hunter.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Section's a lot longer than I remember.
No, I'm
Oh,
just slower.
there's the invis guys. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's Nah, I'm just slower. No, it is. I think when watching this, it feels long, but actually playing it, like...
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Oh. What the...
I don't think that in the invis hunters can insta-kill.
If that insta-killed me, you know that
That would
would
have been so sick if that insta-killed you.
I don't see him. There we go.
What was that extra dialogue? Does that always happen?
No. No. I think no. That last hunter put me over the time for it. Yeah. The laser room. This is a fun room.
We need to stop the virus.
So we're gonna be entering a maze with all these poles with invisible lasers. As Chris, you see here, is gonna walk into that. But for us, we're gonna go through multiple layouts of the same maze with different, like I said, layouts. But because it's a speed run, we have to have memorized, you know, the layout of the room.
And usually you would use the camera thing,
Yeah,
scanner
to see what
thing
the
to be able to
lasers
see
are.
them.
Yeah. If I get hit once, I'll look at the camera, but I'm pretty sure I know this from muscle memory.
Took me so long to memorize it.
It's just counterintuitive. But there is a marker on the ground. There is a green herb, which is meant for healing. But I never pick it up, because for me that green herb just sits as a marker for the maze. Makes it a little bit easier.
Does it work?
Did we ever touch on checkpoint resets? I guess you did the one on comms officer, but
Yeah, so we can reset at certain points. It saves us anywhere from half a second to like 1 or 2 seconds going into certain key doors. But obviously for marathon purposes it's slower because I'm going to the menu and restarting. But for speedrun you do it, and we've had a gentleman's agreement on some parts of the run where we just wouldn't do it, so there we go.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, with the way the timer works, you could reset and save half a second, but you're really using 15 seconds of real time to do it. It's literally, you could actually do it on every single door that you open. There are a lot of doors that you open, but yeah, we have the gentleman's agreement because it would get quite repetitive.
No way that killed him.
I don't think he dies in one.
He was walking a really weird way. What the? And for most speedrun games, if we make a section look easy, it's either because it's easy or, you know, we took the time to make it look easy. In this case, since I'm running the game, it's pretty easy. No, it takes time. No, it takes time to learn the layout. God, I don't remember this layout. I do. Just kidding.
It is insane.
Chris, you're not gonna believe
Almost like you've played this before.
Almost, yeah.
the FBC was
But I speedrun a variety of games. I think it's always just hard remembering. Like, the route is always easy, but then the puzzles always just throw me off when you run a lot of different
all I
games.
have is circumstance.
Oh yeah, for sure. Remembering like which part you do what, that's always such a difficult thing.
So in a lot of Resident Evils, they have a lot of 4-digit codes. One of my IRL friends' apartment to get to has a 4-digit IRL code, and I always put the Resident Evil code in, like trying to get into this place, and some other person answers the door, and they're like, "Who are you?" and all that stuff. So.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So this part here, he got a vaccine off the body that was in the laser, so that he won't die on this upcoming part right here, where he gets flooded with the infected water.
Yeah, getting vaccinated saves lives.
That's controversial, apparently.
Big agree, but oof.
What I said, getting vaccinated against a virus in the water helps save lives.
Ah yes, that's for sure. Yes.
I mean,
yes.
it's true, you would die in this part if you didn't get vaccinated.
Yeah. Taking the scenic route to the ladder.
I got the passcode.
Yeah, when I played this casually, I actually did die on that water like a couple times because I just did not understand what was happening. I thought the game was like bugged or something.
So that's the last upgrade we're going to do for the rest of the run. We put a damage 50% plus on the sniper and 20% on the magnum. Which is a newer part of the routing, because on a future boss coming up, what the old strat was is this very simple land all your sniper shots, but what would happen is it's very hard to, / it takes a little longer, but with the magnum it makes it a little bit more freer since you fire that faster as well. And almost the same firepower.
So it was you. You attacked
Here is
her.
another little scripted killing part. The enemies here also drop in like the same order every time. There's no real RNG here. Just have to memorize what they all spawn. And at this point, with the last damage upgrade on the sniper, you actually don't even have to headshot these guys to one-hit them. always get so mixed up on the last like half of this on where they spawn.
It's like one comes up here and one comes up there. There we go.
I stayed
there are
silent there because that looks serious.
There are a couple of enemies on the outside, but the game doesn't register that you're fighting them because they're too far away, so the section actually just ends. Yeah, brother, we brought down Umbrella. We don't use any grenades in the future, so me fat fingering the grenade key doesn't make a difference. But now, since we know it's not Chris or Jill, we have two other people on this boat left, Jessica and Parker, and we've played as Parker, so it's pretty obvious who the imposter is at this point. So this is where Jessica argues that she was on electrical when the murder happened, but
I understood that reference.
yeah. I had a friend, whenever he was imposter, would always say, I was in electrical, I guess his go-to, so we just keep making fun of him. Saying, oh, but he was in electrical. But yeah, this part's relatively straightforward. We do need to take a hit from one of the Scarmelian enemies up here, because that puts the second Scarmelian enemy on a bit of a delay, so that he doesn't instant attack. So hopefully the one-shot gang hopefully isn't in town today, so.
Yeah, this is very much just like a story part of the game because there's not much that happens here. It's just running point A to point B.
So if you didn't notice, by being in the dialogue, as the guy swung, I actually got the iframe off there. And that's generally what you want to do if you're trying to compete for world record. If you weren't, you would just have thrown a nade. So there. So yeah, you could have just thrown. Okay, you could have just thrown a grenade at that. But yeah, that grenade went off on vacation somewhere. Okay, that grenade was reasonable.
And that is it for that split. Very straightforward.
So during this point, we find out that Jessica is actually a mercenary for the bad guys, and she's actually just trying to make sure, sabotage the whole thing, make sure the virus gets unleashed into the ocean. But it's up to us as Jill and Chris to stop that now. So like I said about doors earlier, it's important that you keep up with Chris here. Which looks easier than done because upcoming there's a bit of a section where you're gonna get stunned from the explosions, where Chris is not actually going to be stunned. So it's important you get as much of a lead on him as you can early on. So here, henceforth, I think I've gotten it a couple times where I'm ahead of Chris and it saves you 4 or 5 seconds. But you're gonna get, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to do. Ideally there, like you can get stunned in the right spot and Chris will keep walking, he'll just push you so then you'll stay in front of him. But it's pretty hard to do.
Especially when you go in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
So normally if you're on good pace, you will be ahead of Chris going onto that, but...
Yeah, because you can climb the ladder before him if you're in front of him there.
Luckily, I
this is the
doors,
Parker split. This is the scary split.
You find this split that bad?
I do. I've been trolled so many times carrying Parker.
Yeah. So Parker's actually injured from his last encounter with Jessica. So there's this whole section of this bit where you're just gonna have to escort him only with a handgun, and for speedrunning purposes, run by a lot of enemies.
The thing that makes it awkward is you have to do the sideways walking thing to move faster while you're holding him, but your collision with things is very weird when you're walking sideways holding him. It's really hard to walk around enemies.
Jessica. We're not getting past that.
Here he went forward and triggered the pipe to blow up so that I can go back here and turn this. There is a bit more of a YOLO strat here where you can like try to go around these enemies, but like I said, the collision is so weird when you're holding Parker, it's quite difficult to do.
I think I tried to advocate that YOLO strat where I actually wouldn't blow up the barrel and just run by them, but it wouldn't work sometimes.
Just back me up for
We need that back enemy to come a little bit closer.
I'll take the lead. Follow me.
Chris can go in front of me any time of the day. Whew. Then sometimes Chris screws you.
Chris.
Yeah, that part sucks. When you're trying to push for record, there's a way you could do that part. That saves quite a bit of time where you actually get in front of Chris and then you go left and you just try to YOLO it towards the door. But there's an ooze that spawns in front of the door, and if you get unlucky and he paths in front of you, he could just block you. And it takes like 10 seconds to kill him with the pistol.
We're out of time.
The one-shot Scarmelian. He's insane. I always get really nervous about that shot because you're technically just quick scoping to get that shot, but
Yeah.
a little bit low on ammo, but that's always a set sniper rifle pickup. We go running into another one of the big dudes here.
Extremely difficult fight.
Very, yeah.
This is another part where you can also do like a checkpoint reset once you get to the top of this ladder. It skips like a bit of a thing where you just kind of look down.
Yep. So it would have skipped those 2-3 seconds and you would have started right here. So coming up to the second to last boss fight in the game, I think we just call it the Queen boss fight because it's the Queen worm, if that makes sense. And the fight's in 2 stages. One, we're gonna be fighting her with our guns on the ground, and the second phase we're gonna be in a helicopter, just blasting away.
This little run up this thing is also scary. You couldn't get owned going up this by the barrels and stuff flying down.
That'll go pretty clean. The fact that the ship is sinking sideways kind of like makes me tilt my head to, you know, bounce up. But anyway, the Queen boss fight, the first phase. You just kind of want to describe the boss fight, Spicy?
Yeah, so the way this fight works is there are 4 arms that come out of the boss. It starts with there being 2 on each side, and to finish this phase of the fight, you have to kill all 4 of the arms. The way that he's going to start the fight is he's going to shoot a rocket launcher shot on the left 2 arms that ideally will break both the arms. If you don't get both of the arms break, you can reset checkpoint and just try again. It's definitely worth resetting because yeah, it's pretty hard to do because a lot of the time you can end up hitting one and it won't splash the other one, but Insta killing 2 of the arms is really good because it can get out of hand if you don't.
Yep,
You can
that was
start
it too.
getting hit. And then he's just gonna start blasting on the other 2 with the Magnum and the sniper. And he's also gonna pick up one of these rocket launchers for later that gets dropped here.
There we go, and that's the boss fight. First phase.
Nice. Not too bad. Only one like stun there. A lot of the time you can get unlucky and you'll just get like chain stunned if you don't kill one fast.
And the reset's not too bad. It's like 2-3 seconds if you miss or only get one of the arms. But it's super essential that you get 2 arms with the
Yeah.
rocket. Looks like an auto scroller, but isn't really an auto scroller. They actually have HP bars, so.
Yeah, I thought it was an auto-scroller for the longest time, but you can actually lose time on this if you don't kill them fast enough. Pretty straightforward though.
They do take more damage if you shoot them in the head, which is why I'm trying to not shoot them in like the main body. Back there or something. So.
Yeah, it's actually a lot more damage. They take quite a while to kill in the body. Is it Terra Grigia after this?
Yep.
The best. Yeah.
So I know you guys can't hear the music, but the music is actually really, really good for this section. It's like a very high stakes end of the world music.
When I was playing this casually, I really thought this was like the last boss.
Kind of presents itself to be the last boss, yeah.
Yeah, it comes across as that.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh. Oh well. I got gotten too.
Yeah, right?
It looks like
seems
a
like
final
it.
boss, right? Like bigger than bigger than the ship. Yeah.
It should be. I mean, it would make for a good one.
Oh yeah. The last boss is pretty cool though, and it's a very good tribute to the RE games. But we'll talk about that when we get a little bit closer.
Nice.
I think we got one more wave of arms, and then we're gonna be fighting the main mouth. Okay.
Did we kill it?
So now we just unload, and we're gonna get a scripted rocket launcher to kill it.
Aiming this thing is actually very awkward. It looks way easier than it is because the helicopter's like swaying around.
Yep. So we're down to the last 2 splits of the game. So after a high-paced, intense section of you fighting a giant monster, what better ruined the pace than just go back into the past? Just walk.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah. This Terra Grigia split just ruins the pacing of the game. Oh, completely forgot about him. But yeah, the pacing gets a little bit thrown off. You're like, oh, good, I'm on good pace, and then you come to this section where you're just like, okay.
This is a pretty. There's some reset points in this split.
Which is the worst part of, I think, of the Revelations run is you can reset till literally the last boss. it's not like certain games where if you get past this skip or this hill, you know it's free. But yeah, this game.
I think this
Everything's
Terran Bridge
dangerous.
is probably the last like big reset.
You could YOLO in the last section, the swimming section, but it saves you
Yeah.
2 seconds.
You'll see why in a little bit, why this part is so rough.
If you get really good luck,
That is not very good luck. That is,
the one-hit kill.
you know what? I'm glad we got to see it. Honestly, I'm glad we got to see it.
Remember
That
how
was
we're
cute.
yeah, remember how we were talking about anything can kill the run? Yeah. That's one of those moments if I was on record pace and that happened to be this late into the game. The stream is ending. Keyboard gets thrown against the wall. Yeah, it was a bit unlucky too there because you want the hunter to actually jump over so you're able to knife him, but because he's behind Raymond, the dude on the ground, you have to shoot him, which is slow.
Yeah, your ammo is extremely limited in the first half of this section. We only pick up some later in a part where it doesn't matter because we have to wait for I believe Jessica to walk over.
There we go. A bit of good luck because he was allowed to jump over.
Yeah, killing with the axe is so much faster. This is one of the main reasons this part sucks is because it's another section where you have to carry someone. Meaning you have to walk sideways and have a weird collision box. And
Yeah, remember when carrying Parker through the ship was bad? Now imagine that the enemies have a capability of one-shotting you on top of that, so that's what we're dealing with.
yeah, this little hallway up here that he's about to go through is maybe one of the worst parts of the game. Nice.
Actually pretty smooth.
Yeah, that was really good. There is a thing that can happen where that last hunter that he put down on the ground, that hunter can do a jump backwards and just stand in front of the door that it needs to go through, and you just can't do anything about it. You just have to like wait until he moves or something because they take so long to kill with the pistol.
So as we approach the last maybe 6-7 minutes of the run, for those of you interested in running Revelations or any other Resident Evil games, I really want to say with a little bit of with a little bit of unbiased and bias that the Resident Evil speedrunning community is very welcoming, and I've come from a lot of games and sped ran a lot of games, but definitely in terms of helping out new runners and the allocation of resources, the Resident Evil guys are pretty cool, honestly. So I would recommend checking out any other speedruns. There's so many good runners, and actually the best part about the Resident Evil runs is all of them are extremely different from each other. 1 and 0 are completely different from 2 and 3. 4 is different. 5 is different. 6 is a game.
That's a statement.
Yeah, and 7 and 8 are its own category as well, but because they're also different, you'll actually see different runners for each of the Resident Evils, and like I said, welcoming community for all of them. I myself run a couple RE games as well. Revelations is definitely up there for some of the more fun ones, honestly.
Most of the Resident Evil games are also extremely easy to get into on like a base level. They're really easy to learn. If you're looking, maybe like you're just interested in speedrunning, you haven't tried it, and you're a fan of Resident Evil games, they're really good like first speedrun games.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some easier than others. I would wholeheartedly recommend Resident Evil 2 Remake. I think is one of the easiest speedruns to get into. Revelations is actually really easy to get into. But yeah. Anyway, that's our shout out to the communities that we come from. And if you also join those discords, you could see me moderate a few of them and just sarcastically respond to dumb questions.
That's honestly a big perk. I would do that just for sarcastic comments.
That's a staple in there. So
I think my favorite speedrun comment from a lot of new people is, I did this perfectly, but why am I so slow? And then I think to myself, well, it's not perfect if you're slow, right?
And then they post a video and they're doing it fundamentally wrong.
Yeah. but like on the less toxic side of things, it's really encouraging to see a lot of people say, oh, I could never beat my time now. I had such a good run. But then the next day, they'll beat it. And I think we have a very good community that, offers not only just criticism, but support for each other when we're speedrunning. Most of us do, at least.
Speedrunning communities just in general tend to be very kind and like comprehensive and helpful, so I'm sure Resident Evil is all the same.
Yeah. There are some that I don't want to say aren't as kind, that aren't as popular. So it's the weight of the pressure is kind of just on a few people. But because Resident Evil is such a big community, you don't have to deal with every question. But some smaller games, I mean, I'm not going to name any of them, but it's such a good game, but the community is so small, so it's kind of a shame, honestly.
Yeah, sometimes that's just things that happen, I guess.
Yeah.
Are they saying stepping out of bounds as you're actually going out of bounds, or are you staying in bounds?
Oh, no.
Okay, that would have been very funny, though.
Yes, we're gonna dead space float above the elevator and just walk to the end.
I mean, that would have been great. Like, they'll go out of bounds and then you just go.
Yeah, which I think in this game there are many. I really believe that there are more out of bounds we can utilize in this game. But Spicy and I, like, we routed we helped optimize a lot of the routing. But,
that was mean.
Yeah, no warning. We optimized a lot of the routing, but neither of us are really good glitch finders, if that makes sense. Another very popular glitch. There's always a hunter stuck on this pillar, and because this is a time kill section, this is the ideal place you want to be. So you can not only just slash hunters come up to you, but in case one does get stuck right there. So.
We like AI.
Oh yeah.
The DS AI.
Unfortunately, none of them got stuck this time, so. And that, thankfully, is the last of the Terragesia split. It kind of puts into context what was going behind the scenes. Jessica was secretly working for the other rival agency. Parker was actually trying to help people, and it gives you a little bit more character development, which for Resident Evil game, I don't know why you try to do. Resident Evil characters don't have personalities.
Chris has quite the big personality in that costume.
He has a very boulder punching personality.
Flamboyant.
Yes. Fun fact, because this is before the events in 5, Chris Redfield has not punched a boulder yet in this timeline, So we're coming down to the last split. We're going to be fighting the last boss, which is a very cool tribute to the original RE the OG fans. So we're gonna be fighting the Tyrant, except it can go invisible. So for those of you unfamiliar with the Tyrant, it's just big dude claws. If you know Mr. X or Nemesis memes, it's just the more basic version of that. Same height though, so. I would like to show you guys, but I think we are a little bit behind, running late, so I'll wait a second before I shoot it so you guys can kind of just see what it looks like. But it's a pretty cool boss fight casually because he can create illusions of himself. He can do teleport. He goes invisible. A lot of cool stuff. But we have a rocket launcher, so doesn't make a difference. But the run could still die at any point in this part right here. You're gonna have to activate a couple of switches, and the blobs actually do one-shot you if you go anywhere near them. So get eaten up.
Yeah, this part's pretty scary. Even if you don't want to YOLO, this part's pretty scary. So bad.
I might give it a YOLO.
Oh,
Just
God.
once. Come on, do it.
Alright, here we go. Well, I YOLO'd past that one, but this is the real YOLO. Okay.
I think it's actually pretty safe. I don't think I've been even doing that yet.
Yeah, if you're a little bit slow, there I think the head of your model is what counts as the registered one kill hit. But this is a bit scary. He's right there.
I think you're fine. Yeah, fine. Oh,
Almost.
It's all good.
Where's this guy? There we go.
that was a little close.
Yeah. Like Jill says, it was close. Yeah. YOLOing saves 2 seconds.
Hashtag worth it.
Yeah, but luckily the game's not optimized where YOLOing and dying ruins the run. So.
Coming up on the actual final boss now.
So we're actually right now in the city of Terra Grigia, underwater when it was sunk. And what had happened was the terrorist leader who was in charge of it was kind of being framed for the whole incident. So this whole time, he was just surviving underwater for the last 5 or so years. So, yeah, we'll be running into him. His name is Jack Norman of the Veltro. There's this whole dialogue setup script here. Doesn't matter what we do.
It's so funny the way he just like throws the thing on this cutscene.
Actually, this transformation is pretty cool. I'll let it play. It's like 10 seconds, 10, 50 seconds.
This is it. We got the evidence.
And in the cutscene, it shows the original 2 costumes we would be wearing.
Looks pretty sick.
Yeah. So time will be coming up shortly within the next 30 seconds. This boss fight's relatively pretty short. So yeah, that is the tyrant of this game. But we have a rocket launcher, so we're going to be skipping all of its cool attacks. And time is coming up in about 3, 2, 1. And that's time.
GG's.
GG's.
Well done.
So yeah, quick shout outs on my end. Like I said, we have the whole community to thank. There's so many names, there's so many great people in that community, but I wanted to give a particular shout out to Captain Ezekiel, who is a really good friend of mine as well as a fellow runner. He got me into this, me and Spicy into this game. It's been such a fun time learning this run. Hope you're doing good, man. So, Spicy, what about you?
Yeah, just shout out to Captain Ezekiel as well. That's about it for me.
Alrighty, take it away, Boo.
For sure. Well, thank you for the run. That was very amazing. And thank you for the commentary, Spicy. That was also very entertaining. As for us, we will be moving on to Fire Spitter with WarioWare getting together in a short bit. And as far as I'm concerned, this is my last volunteering shift for this marathon because, yeah, my availability didn't quite line up. But thank you everybody in chat for having been there for the wonderful weekend. Keep donating, keep going strong. We still have lots of content to go through. It will be very amazing. And hopefully you'll all enjoy. With that, we will go to a short break before going to Fire Spitter. Stay tuned.
We good?